Today we're going to be tackling one of my favorite subjects, and I talk about this fairly often. I actually think it was the first video I ever did on YouTube a few years ago, and that's eyebrows. I want to do a little bit of an update with just like a little more info, and I haven't watched that video in forever, so it might be repetitive. I don't know, and that was probably shitty anyway. But just like on trimming eyebrows and the shape and the different products and blah blah blah, just kind of like an all-around deal. And don't worry, I'm filming this at like 8 o'clock at night, so I'm not drinking like wine at 10 a.m. or something. It's fine. The first thing I want to talk about are trimming your eyebrows. This is not something that is like a mandatory thing. I would only recommend doing this if you feel like you have a lot of hair or it's just like really bulky looking. A lot of people might not have to do this, or you might choose to because you want it just to be a little bit more trim and whatever. It's your choice. But it can be a little scary because I have ended up with like bald patches where I cut too much. So the easiest way to do it is this way. So what you'll want to do is take a small comb or a clean mascara spoolie. That just means the wand, you know, like little swirly thing. So I'm going to use this comb that's on the end of an eyebrow pencil. And you're just going to want to brush it up, and I'm holding a mirror in my other hand, so it's going to be hard for me to do, but you want to brush up towards, like, see the border of my actual eyebrow? You can see the border of it. So you want to push it up to that border and then trim the excess across. So I always use some little fingernail scissors, but not like, don't be gross, like don't use something that you cut your toenails with, or if you did, like clean it off with some alcohol. And I'm not actually gonna do this right now because it's, you know, you can imagine in your head. So see like all the hair that's sticking up past that border, you just trim it, and then same thing through the whole eyebrow. You just push it up to that border, trim it, push it up to the border, trim it, and so on and so on. Now moving on to actually filling in the eyebrow, there are several different options that you have, like several different levels of how defined you want them to be, how natural you want them to be, blah, blah, blah. So the first level is no additional color, or you can get this in a color, but this is gonna be like the least amount of definition. So that would be with a brow gel. I use a brow gel as a final step because I'll add a color with pencil or with pomade or with whatever, and then I use the brow gel as a final step. But if you just want to like tame and stuff, then only use a brow gel. And this is the one from Anastasia. This is like the little sample size from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I really like this one a lot. There's also one from Model in a Bottle. It's like an eyebrow sealer, and it almost has like an alcohol, like a hairspray texture, which I've also used hairspray by I will spray a spoolie and go through my eyebrows. You can totally do that too. It's just kind of messy, and your hair, your floor of your bathroom or wherever you do this will get sticky and kind of gross, but that is another option. The next least defined thing would be to use only a brow powder or an eyeshadow that's in a, you know, coordinating color with your hair color. It doesn't usually add a lot of definition, but you can fill in sparse spaces. But say if you're adding more of a shape, like you want to add like a tail, it's not going to be as defined. It's going to have more of just a filling effect than like a defining effect. Next, with a little more definition, but it's a little harder to work with and a little harder to get a defined line, is the brow pomade. This is Blonde from Anastasia of Beverly Hills. I really like this a lot, but to get a really defined shape to use this, you have to use a really, really small angled brush that has a really stiff shape. So you can use it like you would a gel eyeliner, same deal. But what I do most often is use a brow pencil, which is the most defining, in combination with the pomade, because I'll use the brow, I don't know why I'm still holding this, I'll use the brow pencil to define, and then I'll use the pomade to kind of fill in. The brow pencil that I've been using forever is this one from Maybelline, and it's so small right now. I think it's called the Brow Duo, and I always use blonde no matter what color my hair is, because if I want to darken when my hair is like black or dark, I'll just use a brow powder or eyeshadow to darken the actual brow. And then I use the shape in the blondes because it's less harsh. It's not as bad. So here's the thing with this. I love this. I've been using this for years, for as long as I can remember. The only thing is you have to sharpen it every single day, and it kind of gets to be annoying. So I thought that I would get one that is this is also from Maybelline. This is called Define a Brow, and I just bought this a few days ago, and it's in dark blonde. So I thought I would get this because it's got like the little twist up. But the only thing I don't like about this is it's really, the pencil is so thin that the tip breaks off all the time, and it's just kind of harder to use than the other one. So I'm kind of torn on which one I like better, because I'm lazy, so I like the twistiness of this, but it's not as substantial as the other one. As far as how you actually want to fill in your brow, let's go over that. What you want to do is use something to measure, like if this is your first time and you don't know what the hell you're doing. Okay, you use something to measure from the corner of like your nostril and then to the corner of your eyebrow. So that's where your eyebrow should start, is like right at the same edge that your nose stops. Does that make any sense? So you would want to, if you have a space in between there, you would want to fill it in. If you have hairs that are growing over, then you would want to tweeze those. So that's where your eyebrow should start. And then the arch should be, so that means the highest point should be at a slight angle from the very center of your eye. And then the end should be from the corner of your eye at an angle here. So it should be at like the point of this. So I'm lacking a little bit at the end, so I always draw that in. So what I do is I draw a line from that corner all the way until underneath my arch. So it's kind of a straight line. And then I don't draw a line all the way on the inside because that tends to look a little unnatural. So I just go a little bit farther back, and then I kind of fill in my arch a little bit so you can kind of get a little bit more definition there. And then I kind of know my eye now, because I've been doing this for so long, every single day, that I know how far to stop with. I don't have to measure. And so I just draw that little tail in also. And then if I'm in a hurry, I'll just kind of go through and mimic the hairs. Like I'll go in the same direction because that looks more natural. Just mimic the hairs and kind of fill in everything. So then you can do that in one step. So it's up to you. You could just use one product, or if I wasn't in a hurry and I was trying to be like super picky about it, I would go through with the brow pomade and use that. And if I was gonna be doing something like where you work all day, or you have like some event, or you're going out or whatever, you want it to last a long time, I would finish up with a brow gel to make it last longer. So that's really it. It's really not hard once you get used to it. And those are kind of like the different steps that you can take from like light to heavy brows. And if you're one of those people that's like, why am I even gonna try to draw an eyebrow on? I think you can tell a big difference in the structure of your eye. It kind of gives you like a little lift, you know? It just makes you look more done, and it kind of, it like makes you look more awake. It's good, okay? It's all good. So that's it. I hope you learned something. I hope it wasn't the same thing that I've repeated a million times. And if so, I'm sorry. I love eyebrows. I'm very passionate about it. And I'll see you next time.